Hello and welcome. So today what we're going to do is we're going to create a semi-automated system that will take a video file and generate subtitle files for us automatically. So semi-automatically. So let's see what we're going to do. In the end, we want to have this pretty much. So I'm in a folder here with let's imagine this is a movie, right? I'm going to come in here and open a command line. And I'm going to type gen subs .bat, and I'm gonna type B and just hit tab. So type the file name in quotes. You need quotes if you have a space in your video file name, right? Just gonna hit enter, and that's gonna start doing some work. So what it's doing right now is generating this WAV audio file, and then from this WAV audio file, it's gonna generate subtitles for the video. As you can see, it's going through the video, and you can see the subtitles are coming up as it's processing. Now this uses quite advanced AI from OpenAI. It's called Whisper, the Whisper system. And this is happening locally on your machine. It doesn't require connection or anything. Everything is installed on the computer. Right, so it's gonna take, this video is about 20 minutes and it's gonna take much shorter time to finish, but it's still gonna take a few minutes here. Right, so as you can see, it is done. It has generated a subtitle file, SRT file, and the WAV file has been automatically deleted. Right, so I'm going to open the movie here. This is just a previous tutorial of mine. And you can see the subtitles are working great.
Today I want to show you how you can install Celeron on a shared hosting.
Now skip forward.
The upload is done. We can go back to our file manager here.
It's very accurate, as you can see.
If you don't see the...
Alright, so let's get to it. Alright, so we're gonna do something pretty cool today. We're gonna use an implementation of OpenAI's Whisper system to automatically generate subtitles for videos, subtitle files to be exact. So OpenAI's Whisper is basically it's an AI that recognizes speech and basically turn the audio into text. So this is the original OpenAI Whisper release. You can see some samples here. I'm just gonna play some. The difference here is that this, speech recognition has been done before, but this is surprisingly good. It's really good, and it can do some other things. I believe you can even translate from other languages into English text, but we're just gonna stick to English for this thing we're gonna do here. Let's see some examples here. So this is an example.
This is the Micro Machine Man presenting the most miniature motorcade of Micro Machine. Each one has dramatic details, quick return, precision page out, plus incredible Micro Machine pocket playsets, there's a police station, fire station, restaurant, service station, and more.
So you can see that that's someone speaking very quickly, speed talking, and you can look at the transcript. This is the Micro Machine Man presenting the most miniature motorcade of. So you can see it's very good, right? So that's hard even for a human to do. And there are some other samples here, I'm sure. So there's French people with accents.
One of the most famous landmarks on the borders, it's 3 hills. And the myth is that Merlin, the magician, split one hill into 3.
I mean, I can't even understand that of it. Right, so the reason I want to do this is because you can generate subtitles for movies and stuff with it. So if you have any video or movie which doesn't have subtitles, you can pretty much use this to generate the subtitles more or less automatically. Movies, they have other noise and sounds in the background, so sometimes it misses here and there, but overall it's really good. So we're not going to install this Whisper, the original release. This is open source. The release is, well, at least the software is open source. I don't think the models are open source, but anyway. So you can install this if you want, but it takes some effort because you need to install Python, and I think it also needs some specific, probably GPU and all that. So it can be a bit challenging to install it for most people, but it does give you all the features of Whisper. but instead we're gonna use Whisper.cpp. So this is a C++ or C implementation of the same exact thing. So it uses the same models, but it runs in C and C++, and it also runs on the CPU. So you don't need any particular graphics card, because normally AI stuff, it runs on the graphics card on GPU. This runs on CPU. It is not as full featured as the original one. I think there's some things it can't do, and so you want to read, if you're interested in doing more advanced stuff, you want to read through all this. Yeah, so this is what we're going to use. We're going to install it on Windows, right? So we need a couple of things. We need the Whisper.cpp, of course. We need the language model, which we're going to just download, and we need ffmpeg. This is a piece of software that is going to help us convert video into audio, right? So we have video files. Whisper works with audio files, and a very specific type of audio file. But we have video, so we need to convert from video to the specific audio. And this is just some libraries from Microsoft which are required to be installed on your machine, because Whisper.cpp is compiled with this Microsoft Visual Studio, which relies on these redistributable libraries, right? So I recommend you install that first. If you don't have those, you're gonna get some error, VC something is missing, DLL, blah blah blah, right? So we're gonna go to Microsoft first, right? So there are a bunch of these redistributable or online, so I actually struggled to find the correct one for a bit. So I want this one here, VC Redist x64, because my machine is x64. Yours is probably 2 if it's made within the last decade or so. So download that one, and we just install that straight ahead. Yes, let that install. You must restart. I'm not going to restart now, obviously, for obvious reasons, but you should probably restart sooner or later. I'm going to close that, so that's done. What else do we need? We need Whisper.cpp itself. So the people from Whisper.cpp have provided, I'm just going to put this here so you can see that. It's on GitHub, right? They've provided some binaries here. So you go to releases here. So they've built it for us, for Windows. We just scroll down. I'm going to find this Whisper bin x64, right? There's this BLAS thing, which I don't fully understand, but I think BLAS is some sort of algorithm that maybe improves performance or something. I haven't tried that one. I just tried this one here. I'm just going to download that, right? So we have that now, and then we need the model, right? So there's supposed to be like a script which will automatically download the model for you, but I can't figure out how to work it properly. So I'm just gonna go directly to the website, which is this one here, and in my case here, we're gonna find this GGML model Whisper base EN for English, right? Again, I've only tried the English one. I don't know how the other models work, or how if the translation works at all with Whisper.cpp. You need to look that up. So download that one, right? And then the last thing we need is ffmpeg. ffmpeg is an excellent program. It can convert all sort of videos into other video formats, different containers, different audio codecs. It's really quite brilliant. Right, so gonna go to download here, I guess. Yeah, so you want to find Windows for us, and ffmpeg don't provide their own Windows binaries, but other people do. So you see Windows builds here. Yeah, so this is the one I used. I got lost there for a second. The one you want is the release builds, and I believe I go to the essential zip. There you go. Right, so we have downloaded everything, I think. Right, excellent. So I'm gonna take those 3 files, right? I just created, this is my C drive, I just created this folder subsgen for subs generator. It's an empty folder, there's nothing here. I'm gonna put all my files in here. Right, so we have Whisper, ffmpeg, and our model, right? Gonna extract all. Just put it, I'm just gonna rename it to Whisper just for ease of use here. Great. I can delete the zip. Oops. I can delete the zip. Extract that one, call it just ffmpeg. Delete that one. So the model file, let's just move it into the Whisper because it needs to be in a particular place. Just gonna move it into Whisper. Gonna come in here. The model is right here, right? So let's try to run this main. Main is the actual program here, right? So I'm gonna go to my. You can do this very. You need to run it from the command line basically, but so I'm just gonna go up here and type cmd. This is an easy way to do it. Type enter and I am in this directory, right? I'm in subgen Whisper. If I do directory here, it will list all the files here, which are these files here, right? So let's try type main, and if you get a result like this, it means it's working properly. Well, at least it's running for now, right? So I will say I have one computer in my house. I have a bunch of computers here, but one computer it will not run on at all. So you just get an error if you type just the program file like this, right? So I don't know what's going on there. Maybe it has a different CPU or something, but I don't know what's going on. But otherwise, it works on all the other machines. Right. So you can see the various options here. We're not gonna go too much into that. Okay, so right, that's Whisper. We don't have this model is not in the correct place right now, but I want to get the audio file first, and then if we go to ffmpeg, it's a bit annoying here, it's inside another folder, and then inside this bin, right? So ffmpeg is right there. So we're gonna find a video file which we can then convert it to audio, and then process that audio through Whisper and hopefully get our subtitles, right? So okay, so I found a video file we can use. So this is just a video of me in a previous YouTube tutorial. I'm just using that one because YouTube, right? I don't want to put an actual movie and then get my account suspended or anything. So they just pretend that's a movie right there, right? The best movie ever, right? So what we need to do is go to the command line again. ffmpeg again is a command line application. I'm gonna go cmd here, right? And now we need the command to. Oops, where is it? Yeah. Oh, God damn it. Clicking the wrong thing. Okay, so now we need the command to take this MP4 video, convert it into a WAV audio file at a specific bitrate as required by Whisper. Whisper will only accept, well, at least Whisper.cpp will only accept WAV files at 16,000 bits or something, or megahertz. I don't know what it is exactly, but here we go. Okay, so here's a command, right? So ffmpeg, the file, right? So in our case, it is best movie, because there's a space here, right? You need to use quotes around the name. So it's always best to have files with no spaces when you're working in these command lines, right? So that's our file name. It's gonna convert it into this bitrate or whatever, audio codec is this, which is PCM something, I don't know, right? And this is the output file. So say best movie. I'm just gonna get rid of the space here. Just it could be anything, but right. So I'm just gonna copy that one there. Copy that. Go to our ffmpeg directory. Now this, I'm just, oh Jesus Christ. Okay. Copy. Okay. So this works because we are in the same folder, right? So best movie is in the same folder as ffmpeg, right? So you can just type best movie. Otherwise, you would have to type the full path of the file. So if they were in the different different directories, but we will look at fixing that, making this more user friendly. But for now, let's just do this thing here. I'm hitting enter here, and it's gonna start converting. Did it convert already? Oh my god, that's fast. Okay, so this is a very fast desktop computer. Okay, so that was almost instant, right? So yeah, so you can see some stuff here. Let's see. None of it makes sense really to me. Right, so now I have this WAV file, right? I can open that. Let's see, open it with VLC.
Forum software. It has a very nice model look to it.
So it's the audio from that video file, right? And if I go to codec information, you can see this is the codec we specified, 16,000 hertz, right? 16-bit. Okay, so yeah, let me, before I forget, very important, this here, the first thing here is a 1, the last thing here is an L, lowercase letter L, right? And it has to be lowercase. It has to be exact this case, right? Otherwise it won't work. But just remember, this is a 1, 6, L, right? Because I put 2 1s the first time I tried this and couldn't figure out what was going on, right? So, okay, yeah, that's all I wanted to say. Right, so now we have the WAV file, right? We need to take the WAV. I'm just gonna copy it here. Go back to our Whisper, paste it in here, right? Best movie.wav, right? So now we go back to our, yeah, and like I said, we're gonna simplify this a little bit. So I said some things about the model before, right? We need to move it. That was a mistake. I found a better way to do it. So if you can see here in these commands, right? There should be a M here somewhere, M, right? Which is a model. So you can specify the path to the model file, right? So let's try it first without specifying the path, right? Let's try, so it's main, right? Main.exe, and then the file name. So best movie. There are no spaces now, so I don't need to put it in quotes. And to generate a subtitle file, right? The ones that work with most media players, VLC and all that stuff, you need to add this OSRT, right? Output results in a SRT file. Okay, great. Right, so then I hit enter. It's gonna complain that it can't find this model by this name, right? So what I used to do in the past, I used to create a model folder here exactly as it shows in the error here, right? And I would rename this file exactly to match ggml base in bin, right? So it would then find the model file. But you can also specify the path to the model, right? So let's see here. So the flag is M, right? Let's see, what is the path here is, okay, so we need to put the full path of this file here. So it's in C, subsgen, whisper, and then the file name, right? So you need to C, so subsgen slash, is it, nope, whisper slash ggml, and this is kind of important because it will come into play later. Otherwise, putting it in the model might seem easier, but I'm doing this because of the way we're going to simplify this whole process, so we don't have to copy files around and move from to multiple command lines and all that. So I think that's correct. CSC doesn't matter, but let's put capture subgen Whisper GML model Whisper JS so the rest of the command is the same. Hit enter, and now it goes through the audio file and starts generating the subtitles. Yeah, so it works pretty well. I have noticed that it can get stuck at times. So sometimes you'll see it gets stuck on one line and the line just keeps repeating all over again. And that's a known issue. If you go to our Whisper.cpp GitHub here and we do stuck. Yeah, model gets stuck on some words, right? So you're gonna see something like this. It happens sometimes. I'm told the original Whisper doesn't do that, and there's a bunch of explanation in here why. So yeah, that's unfortunate, but for the most part it works. 99% of the time it works all the time, as you see, right? Right, so we're done. It took this many milliseconds, however long that is. So you can see it's pretty fast. I'm told it's much faster than the original Whisper. So this is a subtitle file right here, right? It just took the same name basically and added SRT to the end. All right. If you open this, let me see. I'm gonna open this in here. Right. So this is what a SRT file looks like. It just timestamps and what is being said at that time. Right. So let's try it. I'm gonna copy it. Oops. Go to ffmpeg. I'm gonna paste the SRT file here. Open that one.
Celeron is a PHP based.
I'm gonna mute the audio here, and you can select the subtitle. Because the file names are different, it doesn't pick it up automatically. But if the file name was the same, it will pick it up automatically. So right. So those are the subtitles like that.
So normally, when you go to install Celeron, you need to have direct access to the server you are installing on. So you need SSH access, and then you need to be able to run commands on that server.
Right. So excellent, right? And like I said, if these two files had the same file name, it would pick it up automatically when you open it in VLC, for example.
Celeron is a PHP.
Right? Right, so it's automatic, right? So just because of the file name. So great, it works, right? Pretty fast actually, right? The conversion to well, it's only a 20-minute video, but still pretty fast. The conversion to audio is pretty fast, and the transcription itself is also very fast. So that's that. Everything is working. So you can imagine if you have your, let's say you have a folder with your movies like this one, and you have, you know, a bunch of folders in here with movies, right? And in this case, it's kind of annoying. You have to move files around and translate this to that and that to that and move it back here. So you can see, let's see if we can improve on that process a little bit. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is subgen ffmpeg. I don't like this directory. I'm just gonna move this stuff out. This is not specifically necessary, but just hate it. Just gonna move the actual files in here. Oh, it's because this is still open. Close those. Try again. right? So I don't need to have that. So right in subgen, ffmpeg, all the files are here, right? So what I'm gonna do is gonna add ffmpeg and Whisper to the system path, right? So right now we need to be in this particular folder in order to run ffmpeg, right? But once we add ffmpeg to the system path, we can run it from any directory. So right, so right now it says, is that the correct spelling? ffmpeg. Right, so right now it says even exe, it's not found, right? Because it doesn't exist in the path, and I'm in subgen. I'm not in ffmpeg bin. Anyway, I hope that makes sense. Anyway, okay, so I want to add this folder. Oh, you see, this is one of the annoying things about. Right, I want to add this path to the, well, this folder to the system path. I'm gonna copy that, right? So the bin, the path all the way to the bin. So I'm gonna right click here. I'm gonna choose system. And then in system, I'm gonna choose advanced system settings and then environment variables. So in the system variables here, I'm gonna find path, right? And then I'm gonna go edit, and I'm gonna new here, add new, right? I'm gonna add that one here. And I also want to add Whisper, right? So that's for ffmpeg. Go back here, go to Whisper. So, right, I'm gonna add that one there. Okay, right. So now both Whisper and ffmpeg will be available whenever, right? So because we have this open still, we need to close it. It's always important to close it. You might also have to close, if you have something like this, anything that has a hold on a command line, you need to close it every time you update those environment variables, right? So let's try it from Whisper here, cmd, right? And I'm gonna type main. Well, that's still that always worked, right? So let me go to subgen, right, and type main. Hit enter. I get the Whisper. The Whisper program is found, right, because it's in the path now. And ffmpeg, it's also found because it's in the path, even though I'm not in the ffmpeg directory right now, right? Okay, so everything is working well there. Now, if we go to our movies folder, we're gonna write a little batch file that will allow us to be in here. So I'm gonna type a command here, right? It will allow us to simply type one command here. Let's say gen subs dot bat, and we're gonna put in the file name here, right? And we're gonna hit enter. It will generate a subtitle in here, right? So that's a lot better than what we had before. It's still not perfect, but it's a lot better. So we need to create a batch file that will run our commands for us automatically, basically. Okay, so after much Googling and trial and error, I've come up with this here, right? So I'm not a big batch file guy, so this is basically just cobbled together from various pieces of information, right? So this is gonna be our batch file. It's gonna run ffmpeg first, because this is in the path. It can now be found anywhere we run it. So you're gonna pass it a parameter, which is gonna be the file name of the video file we want to convert. It's gonna convert it into a WAV file, right? So it's gonna be called whatever the video file is called, .wav, right? Then it's gonna run the second command, which is the Whisper, right? Again, it's in our path. It's going to be found. We pass the model, right? This is important that your model is in the correct location, right? It's going to find the model, and it's going to take the file name, which is the name of the WAV again, and generate subtitles, right? So what we're going to do here, I'm going to save this file. Let's say in a subgen, I'm going to create a folder here and call it batch, right? Doesn't matter what you call it. Call it batch, and I'm going to call it, let's say, gen subs dot batch, right? So this is a batch file. Generate subs, right? Save. Right, so this is the batch folder I created. This is our batch file, right? So again, I'm going to add this batch file into the system path so we can run it from anywhere once again, right? System, find the path, edit that, new, add it there. Right, that should just work. Close any command lines you have open, and then we're gonna try it from anywhere really. CMD, forgot already what we called it. Gen subs, right? Gen subs dot bat. Right, so it didn't, well, we didn't give it any video file to convert, but obviously it did run ffmpeg and then run Whisper on an empty string, right? So the file name was empty. That's why nothing happened, but it seems to be working, right? So now what we should be able to do is we go to our movies folder, right? We have a, let me delete those, I don't know what those are doing here. Right, so we have fully legal and copyright free movies here, right? Best movie one. You can just go into this folder. You still have to go to the command line. That's the only sort of, still annoying thing. Command line, gen subs dot bat, and then the file name, right? So and the file name, you just need to type the first letter and hit tab. It will autocomplete for you, right? Hit enter. It generated the audio file. Now it's gonna start generating the subtitles, right? Great, so you can do that all over the place. You can go to movie 3, open another command line, gen subs dot bat. What is it called here? Again, just type B tab gen subs. Naming is very important, right? And there. So now I have two files going, generating subs at the same time, right? Now I don't know if you want to push this because it is using the CPU quite a bit. So there we go. That's pretty nice, right? Now the only kind of still annoying thing, there are a few annoying things, right? First of all, you have to go to this folders individually. You could write a more complicated batch file, which you just give it the top level folder like movies, and it goes automatically recursively into every folder and generates subtitles for you, right? It just finds the video files and generates that, be a more complicated batch file. And also the other annoying thing is the file name here, because the file names are going to be let's see, it's going to be bestmovie1.mp4.srt, no, .mp4.wav.srt. So the names don't actually match, so programs like VLC, they won't automatically pick up the file, right? Again, you can probably figure that out if you tried. You could figure out how to, instead of taking the original file name and just adding WAV to it, you can take the original file name, remove the original extension, remove the .mp4, then add WAV to it at the end, and do the same kind of thing here, right? And the other thing is, we can probably fix that now. it doesn't delete the WAV file after it's done. So this is this. Right, so it's finished. Like I was saying, right, it would be nice if it didn't have this bit here, right? If it was just .srt, that way VLC will pick it up automatically and the WAV file is not deleted, right? Deleting the WAV file should be pretty straightforward, I think. Okay, so just del the file name. Yeah, I think we can just delete it here. Del it's file name.wav. We want to delete the wav. Right? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Right, so both have completed, right? Okay, so we have updated our batch file. Let's see. We're gonna try it with the deleting one. Reset that, right? cmd gen subs dot bat best movie. Oops. That's gonna generate, and let's see if the WAV is deleted. Right, so you see it worked pretty much as we wanted to. The file name is still a problem, but how is this? Oh, the file name, did it just pick up the file name automatically? That's interesting. That is interesting. So it does work? Or did I, is it because I did it before? Let's see here. Gen subs.bat. Right, so maybe all the stuff I said about the file names is wrong. Or maybe, interesting, maybe VLC is more sophisticated than I thought. Maybe just looking at the name, because the first part of the name does match, and then the rest of the stuff doesn't matter, maybe. Anyway, let's see. We'll try it again here. I know this file I haven't opened, so okay, let's see what happens here. Okay, so it does pick it up. Okay, so we're just talking a bunch of nonsense there, I guess. Right, so it works great.
Celeron one is great. So we can try and go to our website and see what happens. This won't work, but let's just try it anyway. Go to our website.
Okay, excellent. So that's it. Thanks for watching and see you around.